What's up, guys? I'm your host, Matt Helm, and welcome back to episode 4 of Jet Lag. Enjoy the show. All right, episode 4, week 14, Jets versus Dolphins. What a week, what a game. Especially what a week for sports. Juan Soto news broke last night. That being said, in a New York sports town, Jets, Giants, they suck. At least the Mets, congratulations to Mets fans. As a Yankee fan, wearing my Judge shirt, you can't see it because I got my jacket on, but congrats to Mets fans. Enjoy him. He's an electric player. Let's get back to our scheduled sport. We got the Jets versus Dolphins. A little update on the show. I'm going to do probably one episode a week just because there isn't really that much to talk about with this team at this point in the season. They're 3-10, so there's no point to do 2 episodes a week. Honestly, if they were 8-5 and sitting in a playoff spot and battling for the last spot in the wild card, then we could do 2 episodes. We could do a lot of breaking down the game more specifically, but I'm just going to be kind of grazing over Jets versus Dolphins. It's a meaningless game unless you really want them to lose for a draft position. Another tough loss. But yeah, we're going to get down with we'll go Jets versus Dolphins reaction. Then I'll talk a little bit about the playoff drought. And then we'll do a little bit of preview of Jets versus Jags. And we'll look into the draft order. Kind of the same old stuff we've been doing because they still suck. And then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, and then after the show, this will be the last show I'm in the podcast suite for a month as I'm going home for a winter break. So I'll try and push out at least one episode every week and a half, kind of updating what the Jets are doing. Definitely at the end of the season, I'll push out an episode, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, hopefully one more episode before Christmas, and then one episode after New Year's and before I get back to school January the 13th. So yeah, let's get into it. Let me just pull up my kind of recap I had for the game. Another tough overtime loss. I'm not even surprised. They find new ways to lose every week. I also tweeted, I was like, I feel like I watched that Jet game like 8 times this year, where they look good for a good portion of the game. They have a lead in the fourth quarter, and then they lose, or they have a chance to win the game, a game-winning drive, and they somehow choke it away. So yeah, they go down 6-0 early. The Dolphins' offense was buzzing. I thought this was going to be a rout at that point. Devon Achane, Tua was dicing us up. No Breece Hall, no Sauce Gardner hurt us. Sauce kind of hurt us. They were kind of just picking. DJ Reed played okay, but Michael Carter really not getting any snaps. I think Brandon Echols was in. The defense has been Swiss cheese, letting up 32 points. They missed the extra point, so it's 6-0. I'm like, all right. Jets battle back with a field goal, 6-3. Their offense, they actually look like a competent offense at some points during this game. They scored, Isaiah Davis, I think, had 2 scores. I want to confirm that. Or he had 1. But he looked great. He looked good. Happy for him. I thought Braylon Allen was going to be kind of the main feature where he would have looked great, but Braylon Allen, 11 rushes for 43 yards. Isaiah Davis, 10 for 40 with a touchdown. And he had a few catches, Isaiah Davis. So did Braylon Allen. So I guess they kind of did share the backfield a little bit. But yeah, they go up 10-9. Dolphins kick a field goal. This is all in the second quarter. Dolphins kick a field goal, 12-10. Jets kick a field goal, 13-12. And they're just kicking field goals left and right. So then we go into half. It's 15-13 at this point. I'm like, deep in my mind, I'm thinking I want to win this game because the Jets haven't beat the Dolphins in Miami in years, it feels like. I also read a stat. Tua is also 6-0 versus us when he plays. Obviously, they beat Skylar Thompson, the Jets, in 2022 or whatever that was when Tua was hurt. But yeah, when Tua's right, he's really good. But he's kind of, he doesn't do anything special. This defense should have been able to contain him a lot more. Third quarter starts, touchdown Devontae Adams, great drive. Yeah. And then we get the ball back, kick a field goal. So we're up 23-15 at the end of the fourth. I'm like, all right, they're actually going to pull this out. And at this point, I was like, F the Dolphins. Let's just win this divisional game, spoil their chances at a playoff spot. So that's what I'm thinking at this point. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking it's a lose. It's kind of a, not really a lose. It's a lose-lose, but it's a win-win or a win-lose, lose-win kind of scenario. I don't know. That's confusing. But the way I was thinking was they beat the Dolphins. All right, they play spoiler. Screw the Dolphins. I don't really like them. But then they lose. They get a worse draft position. Whatever. Then if they lose, I'm like, all right, they just lost. Like, F the Dolphins. That being said, they have a better draft position. So I'm kind of like, my mind's going back and forth right now. I'm not really rooting for anything at this point. I'm just kind of hoping, I'm just watching to watch. Fourth quarter starts, Tyreek Hill scores with 9 minutes left. Or no, I think this might have been, yeah. So they tied up 23-23. And they have the Jets kick a field goal with, I think it was, like less than a minute left. And at this point, I think I read a stat that showed, I think it might have been Rich Cimini, where it said the Jets had like an 80% chance to win this game at this point in the game. Yeah, here it is. Anatomy, he tweeted, I'll pull this up for you guys too. Anatomy of Jets collapse. They have an 80% win probability with 1st and 10. Miami 27 with 1:14 left in the fourth. This was when they kicked the field goal and they had a chance to go down and score, but they decided to kick. They run a misdirection one, fools no one, 2 unblocked defenders, Isaiah Davis, -5, second down sack, and then they have to kick a field goal. So it's 26-23. Then, too much time left on the clock. Devontae Adams, there's like scandals that he should have went out of bounds, or shouldn't have went out of bounds to let the clock run a little bit. But we're just nitpicking at that point. They tie it up because the defense can't stop a nosebleed. And, yeah, you obviously knew once this game was going to overtime, this team had no chance of winning. They didn't even get a chance to get the ball. They actually held Jonnu Smith to no catches throughout this point through 4 quarters. And then he decides to get 3 catches for like 40 yards and a touchdown on this drive. Made 2 miraculous two great plays on the screen. The same play, 2 great plays on the screen pass by Tua, which was like the same play design, just other way. And he goes for like 30 yards. And then he catches like a 10-yard touchdown to seal the deal. And I was kind of pumped because I had Jonnu Smith in fantasy, but not really. And then, they lose 3-10. Another loss. It's just kind of at this point, just lose out. What's the point if they win? I'm not gonna root for them to lose, like I said, but I'm not gonna root against them, like cheer for the Dolphins. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be pumped when they lose, but I'm just gonna be hoping for the best outcome. I don't know what this team is gonna do. There was discussions I saw of Vrabel later in the week. Vrabel was kind of open to the Jets' head coaching job, and I'd be all for that. But apparently he said if he's allowed to pick his GM, which I don't know why Woody wouldn't let him do that, let him pick whoever. He's been to an AFC championship with a Ryan Tannehill-led Titans team. and he's won Super Bowls while playing. He knows what a winning culture looks like. He knows how to build a team. He knows how to build an identity. Let him pick his GM. It makes zero sense for Woody to pick the GM if you're going to let Vrabel be the head coach, because then if they're not seeing eye to eye, it's just more dysfunction, and Woody's kind of butting heads again. And then another report comes out. This is just kind of bullshitting now, but another report comes out that I think it was Rappaport, like right before the 1 o'clock game kicked off, that what's it called? The Jets will probably draft a first-round quarterback with their top 10 projected pick, with or without Rodgers on the team next year. So if they have Rodgers, they're still going to draft him and probably sit behind him. But if they don't, he'll probably, I hope he doesn't start week 1. But yeah, they're basically just going to draft the quarterback. But that mind boggles me, because how do you know that if you don't have a head coach or GM? It just shows you that Woody is still pulling the strings of this organization, and why is he shouldn't be the one to make that decision. It might be the right one. I agree with it. They should draft a rookie quarterback. But why is Woody making these decisions when he doesn't have a head coach or GM in the building? It makes zero sense. Let them do what they do. You're hiring these guys to do a job. You just sit back and own the team and collect your money, and then if shit goes awry, that's when you make your decisions. That's when you change something. Let these people do their jobs. I don't understand it. It makes me question what they're trying to do. I would love for Steve Cohen to buy the Jets. That's how I'll forgive him if Juan Soto, or if he steals. So Steve Cohen stole Juan Soto, I'll forgive him if he buys the Jets. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so Rodgers' first time throwing for 300 yards in 35 games. Just getting old. It's kind of a whoopee stat. Yeah, Garrett and Devontae had two pretty good games. Really not much. Sam Reddick's been invisible. It's just been a pretty horrible go this year. But yeah, the playoff drought extends to 14 years. Let's move on. It's the longest drought in North American sports in like any league, NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB. You can't even run into one accidental playoff appearance because you're so bad. 2015, they should have made it. They were 10-6, and they had to beat the Matt Barkley-led Bills, I think, to get in, and they didn't. That being said, you should be able to get into the playoffs at 10-6. Man, dude, this playoff drought is going on way too long, and there really is no end in sight. They're going to miss the playoffs next year, most likely, with a new regime. I'm not expecting them to make the playoffs next year. I hope they're competitive. Hopefully they're, by this time next year, they're still in contention, like a 6-7, 7-7, be like a 500 team, and maybe you sneak in, depending on the quarterback play. Yeah, there really is no end in sight to this drought. What are we going to do? There's nothing us fans can do besides hopefully Woody hires these right people for the millionth time. We're hoping and putting our trust in the hands of Woody Johnson, which has proven time and time again is the worst thing to do ever. Another thing that I'm very curious as to if Woody Johnson will pull the trigger on is if the GM, or not Woody Johnson, but the new GM, I'm kind of curious how he's going to kind of rebuild this team. I don't think the defense stinks. As much as they're ranked, like they might be ranked high statistically, they are not good. They need like I'm looking at these like Chiefs teams, and yeah, the Chiefs have great players on their defense. Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, they have pretty good corners. But I'm looking at these guys. I couldn't name you more than 3 guys maybe on the Chiefs defense. They don't have really that big of names on their D. It's coaching, and they need. I'm really intrigued as to see how this new GM attacks this roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think the offense, honestly, with the right coaching, the offense will click, and maybe that's the same with the defense. But I think you need that 2022 rookie sauce defense where he's an all-pro as a rookie, and you get that insane defense where you're like, this team's losing games, putting up the defense letting up 10 points. And now we're letting up 32 points. We're letting up 24. We're letting up all these big numbers, and we thought that Rodgers and a shoe-in for a quarterback could change this narrative of we're a quarterback away and the defense will carry us. But yeah, they suck. 14 years. 14 years ago, I was in, I think, second grade. I was 8 years old. Not even. I was 7, going to be 8. I don't remember anything. I'm graduating college this year, and the last time the Jets made the playoffs, I was in elementary school eating an Uncrustable for lunch. So, how about them apples? Let's just do a quick preview of Jets-Jacksonville. That game is going to be an absolute toilet bowl. I think Jets are going to win. Mac Jones stinks. The Jags are in a dumpster fire too. They're in a worse spot. It's in Jacksonville. Jets are going to win that game. I'd be shocked if they lose that game. There's no way they lose out. I think they play the Dolphins again. Home. They play the Dolphins. Let's look at the schedule. They play the Dolphins week 18, I think. Yeah, they got the Jags. Jags next week. Rams before Christmas, and then was it the Bills? Oh no, I'm tripping. Yeah, they got 4 more weeks. They're at Jacksonville. Then they play the Rams at home December 22nd. Then in Buffalo December 29th. And then they play the Dolphins January 5th. The Rams are going to beat us. The Bills will beat us. I see really only maybe two more wins. Maybe you beat the Dolphins at home. Maybe you beat the Rams somehow, some way. Rams have been playing really well. That was a sick game against Buffalo yesterday. Yeah, I really only see a max 2 more wins for this squad, so that leaves us with, let's say they're 5-11. What is it, 5-12 now? If they lose to the Jaguars, they might lose out, which is a very real possibility, and they might have 3 wins. The only thing that sucks, and we'll transition to kind of the last segment. I'm not really going to do a lot over the Jets versus Jacksonville. The Jets would win that game. I don't know about easily. I don't know what the spread is. I could look that up now. Let's see. It shouldn't be that much. Yeah, they're favored by 3.5. Mac Jones stinks. They're not going to lose this game. They'll be 4-10. Then they'll have to play the Rams, Buffalo. I think they finish 4-13. To be completely honest. 4-13, 5-12, which will lead us to kind of the last thing on the pecking order. The draft. I'm going to look at the draft order just one last time quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. Quick episode again, which is fine. Really not much to talk about nowadays with this team. That's a mock draft. What am I doing? Let's look up Tankathon. I was like keeping my eye on this after the Jets lost, and what really caught my eye is there's so many bad teams. The Jets are 3-10. There's 8 teams with 2 or 3 wins. That's a quarter of the league, which is crazy. So much of the team is so bad. Just stinks, man. Bears are in a crazy losing skid. Giants stink. I read a stat, too, about the Giants. If they don't win a game at home this year, they'll be the first team in NFL history to go 0-9 at home. I guess defeated at home, not 0-9, but 0-8, I'm sure. has never been happened and never happened before. But they will be the first team to not win a game at home, which is, or I guess, yeah, the Owen whatever teams have lost a game at home. So maybe that's not true. Whatever, but yeah, 0-9 at home, I guess. 9 losses, I think maybe, I don't know. But that's horrible. How do you not win a game at home? Your fans are crying. So are the Jets fans. So yeah, they're 3-10. Jacksonville's ahead of them. So that's a huge game. The game this week, huge game for Tankathon. If the Jets lose, they're gonna go above Jacksonville. So they'll have a top 6 pick at least. Giants are going to lose this week. They play the Ravens. Carolina actually plays the Cowboys. They could win that game. So we're basically just, I guess, rooting for these teams in front to win games. Raiders are screwed. They have no quarterback. They're probably going to have a top 2 pick. The good thing is, I think they go quarterback. So if the draft was today, Titans might draft a quarterback. Jacksonville, I doubt. They're going to ride Trevor Lawrence. Carolina has Bryce Young has looked very good. Drake May, you're not drafting quarterback. That leaves you with, let's say there's 3 premier quarterbacks in this draft. You have Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and Jalen Milroe. Las Vegas is going to draft a quarterback. They need one. Giants are drafting a quarterback 100%. That's 2 quarterbacks off the board. The next team that could probably draft a quarterback in this top 10 or top 6 or 7 right now, what we're looking at, is most likely Tennessee. Unless something crazy happens, and which I can't see because those 2 quarterbacks that are going to go off, it's probably going to be Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. I can't see Jacksonville or any of these teams with their young quarterbacks trading their quarterback away and drafting a Jalen Milroe project quarterback. I don't see that happening. Tennessee now, they could draft a quarterback. All right, we're back. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Ran into two of my buddies. So, but yeah, as I was saying, the only Tennessee is a problem. They might draft a quarterback. I don't know how much they trust Will Levis. I wouldn't trust Will Levis. I'd want a quarterback if I was Do you really? Tennessee has a lot more problems in quarterback than I think. We'll see. There's still a lot of prospects. We'll see where Travis Hunter goes. Will Johnson, Will Campbell, Ashton Genty is a name I don't want the Jets to draft, but he's a very good prospect. This draft really isn't as loaded as some of the past drafts have been. You say that now, and it could be a crazy draft with crazy talent. You never know. But, yeah. This mock draft right now, I'm on Tankathon. Has Shedeur Sanders going 1, Cam Ward 2, Patriots draft 3. They take Travis Hunter. Mason Graham to the Panthers. Will Johnson to the Jags. Tet McMillan to the Titans. And the Jets take edge, Abdul Carter from Penn State. He's actually having a great season. It's whatever. Another edge. They need a quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the new regime thinks. That being said, hopefully this was a kind of a quicker episode. Hopefully there's another episode dropping next Monday. Hopefully next week at some time. Jets stink. It is what it is. We got the Jags, Rams, Bills, Dolphins up next. They played Jags. That being said, follow my Twitter at MacHelm4. And just for more updates on episodes, sports things, sadness, rip Juan Soto to the Yankees. That sucks. It is what it is. I was before I go, I was actually saying this has been a tough fall for Yankee fans, and New York sports, honestly. Yankees losing World Series, that stinks. Obviously, it's great that you got there, but there's no participation trophies. If you're there, you gotta win the damn thing. They lose the World Series. Jets and Giants season's over in before Halloween, and Yankees lose Juan Soto, and Mets fans rejoice. All right, that'll do it. That's episode, I think it was 4. Yeah, episode 4. Kind of a reaction to Jets versus Dolphins. Just bullshitting about the Jets at this point of the season. Hopefully, within the next month or two, there's more updates on head coaching, GM, Rodgers, etc., etc. Maybe we'll do a playoff pick'em when that kind of comes around. We'll make a bracket or something, and we'll focus a little more around the league as the Jets season comes to a definite close. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at some point next week for episode 5 of reaction of Jets vs. Jags. So thank you.